So it's come to my attention that someone on this app may be plagiarizing my work.
So in mythology, the villain exists to do one thing, to antagonize the hero's most critical fear.
Villains antagonize fear. Not just any fear, the most critical fear.
It's their cowardice disguised as virtue.
It's a fear that they mistake as virtue. That the villain antagonizes a fear that the hero mistakes for virtue. The villain shines a light on things that are not virtuous in the hero, but instead are cowardice.
Coward.
This is a fear that most people mistake as wisdom.
The fear that the hero has mistaken for wisdom.
Let me explain. In every story, the hero meets the villain and immediately feels it, like, oh shit, this person is locked in.
Number one, the hero meets the villain and sees someone who is locked in. They see someone who's locked the fuck in.
Like dripping with conviction, focus, execution.
They are dripping, oozing with discipline, focus, conviction.
You couldn't pay them to fucking doubt themselves. Like,
Couldn't pay the villain to entertain a doubt.
could you imagine Darth Vader being like, guys,
Imagine Darth Vader doubting himself. Imagine the Joker doubting himself.
the hero moves in accordance with her self-concept, which is
Process, your self-concept, etc. have not matured.
Let's talk about it. First, I want to say may be plagiarizing. I don't know for sure. I don't need to be right about that. And in fact, I hope that I'm wrong. It's not that I don't care. I do care a little.
Now keep in mind that I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit.
I'm more interested in the lesson for all of us, myself included. So we have to wade through some things that might be a little messy to get there. Because I am tired of watching a generation of incredibly talented artists, creatives, entrepreneurs, etc. engage with their fears as if those fears are wisdom.
this is a fear that most people mistake as wisdom.
About these fears that mount for all of us when it becomes time to enter the arena of, oh my God, what if someone steals my work? If you're new here, my name is Vanessa. I'm an opera singer and a writer. I'm also a creativity consultant. Think David Goggins meets Joan of Arc. All of my content is a survey of art, culture, world, religion, philosophy, mysticism, everything for wisdom about the creative process, specifically how to be engaged in your art like an adult. So let's survey that wisdom together, shall we? I want to make 3 points. Let's start with the easier ones and then we'll get a little spicier. 1, if people want to steal your work,
Let them. Let them be who they are. Let them act how they act.
why? I remember working with a particular client who was feeling hesitant to start making content about being a yoga teacher. And I had to hold her hand and say, now, sis, Little Miss Colorado Springs, is yoga yours to own in the first place? Did you invent yoga, or rather was it passed down from 5,000 years of the yogic tradition, passed down by the same thoughtful and generous teachers that you yourself aspire to be? Is it really virtue and wisdom that you're engaging with, or are you engaging with a fear that stands in direct contrast with the higher vision of your art, which is to share the healing nature of yoga? This is what a lot of my work is built on, by the way, that the villain, according to traditional mythology, traditional meaning the tradition of mythology, that mythology satisfies some primordial function within society. The villain is the character who shows the hero, 1, fears that they mistake for wisdom and virtue, and gets them to confront the fact that they are hiding. And 2, the villain shows the hero something that they are ashamed of, that they actually need to embody to serve the higher vision of their art. Just as Luke Skywalker learned the dark side from Darth Vader, not to stay on the dark side, but to use it to become a Jedi, which is ultimately someone who maintains balance between the light and the dark. Before he met Darth Vader, he was only interested in the light. This person is offering shadow work. I'm offering shadow work. This person uses the archetype of the villain. I do the same. My point is that I did not invent shadow work. I did not invent mythology. So when my former clients, my followers sound the alarm in concern that someone may be stealing my work, in my case, as someone who aspires to be a mature artist, I have to ask myself, was this work ever mine to own in the first place? Just taking a look at all these books, no, it is not mine to own. Second point, and I want to bring in an elder creative, quoting the theater of Stephen Sondheim. Stop worrying if your vision is new. Let others make that decision. They usually do. You are the technology that makes art come alive. It's your feeling, your emotions, your experience that people are actually feeling between the exchange of artist and audience. Who you are is what we actually feel. After a while, the words that you use, even if they are borrowed, fade. And as Maya Angelou says, people only remember the way that you make them feel. I'm an opera singer, and so I often reference opera in my courses. It's a mix of music appreciation plus artist motivation. I always reference the following anecdote, which I love, about Maria Callas, arguably the greatest opera singer, if not one of the greatest artists in human history. She was a force of nature. She was rivaled by another great opera singer, Renata Tebaldi. These 2 opera singers were slated to perform the same role at 2 different theaters on the same weekend. On the eve of this anticipated rival premiere, paparazzi was hounding Maria Callas and asked her, Maria, trying to stir the pot a little bit, what do you think? Renata will be performing this same role. Who should the public go see? I don't know if this is exactly right, but this is the legend, that Maria Callas turned to the paparazzi and says, I love Renata's voice. In fact, I think that if you want to hear some of the most beautiful singing of this repertory, I think that you should absolutely go see Renata. However, if you wish to witness the fate of the character live and die on stage, then come see me. I'll let that speak for itself. Third point, and this is the real fear, so let's get a little spicy. If you get out there and your nightmare comes true, the person who stole your work is actually better than you. What is the mature artist to do in that case? Humble yourself. Mature artistry means having the courage to face what you do not do well, over and over again. Artistry is not a practice of using your talents to validate yourself. We use our talents to validate other people. So if you are given the chance to review your blind spots and you have the courage to take the L and see it as a gift. Again, this is a huge pillar of my course, The Villain Challenge. So my thesis is that more than this is an invitation to be great. It is an invitation to get yourself out of your own way, because that is what your artistry needs, to enter the spaces God sent you to inhabit. I want to make one final point about this, and it's the spiciest one yet, because I just found another video. Now I'm a little more into that category of an artist who is sensitive about their shit. And so this is the final point that I want to make for all of us to consider together, is that there also comes a time when an artist has to step into the arena, feet down. Here I am, Lord, send me. The work that you put into the arena came with a pound of flesh. In my case, the material that I put on my content, I damn near bled for. I found it in the silence, in the quiet moments at my mother's funeral, at my best friend's funeral, in profound solitude. I found it with tears in my eyes, helping my clients. Being an artist, being on stage, being an opera singer, etc. I found it. And I put it into a body of work that I believe in. There comes a time when an artist has to step into the arena and defend their work. And being responsible to your gift is not about only being responsible when it means you're going to get praise. That means that sometimes you have to defend it. Is that really true, that I don't care? That I have other things to do? Is that really true? Do I have anything else to do other than defend my work? Than stand up for it in the arena? What else do I have to do? I think this is something that all artists have to face. So what do? A lot of artists, when we find out that someone potentially may have taken our work, something like that. I don't care that much. Well, maybe that's the problem. Oh, I don't care that much. I don't care that much. Well, I don't care that much. Well, maybe that's a problem. It's bothering you. Let it bother you. Maybe you don't care enough. Is that really serving my art? And the answer is no. I want you to compare. I want you to get in there and see what makes me different. I really want you to hear and read between the lines. Use the force to understand what my work is about. If I'm wrong about this, I will be the first person to apologize with incredible sincerity. This is something I want to talk about, AI and creativity and plagiarism, because it's time to talk about it, because I think that's something that we're dealing with. We live in a time, just given the economic landscape that we all find ourselves in, the rent is due every month. It's getting harder for some of us to pay the bills, etc. There's this pressure. Everything's going faster. All of these massive corporations are integrating AI into every aspect of their workflow, etc., their processes and systems. And so the little guy has to do the same thing. AI helps. But there's something to discuss, I think, at the ethics of all of this. This exchange for convenience feels a little Faustian in its essence. There's this Faustian trade. In exchange for convenience, we conceal that you are being set up to steal or to lie or to be dishonest in some concealed way. And I've talked about this in other ways on my platforms, on YouTube especially, that we have to be careful. We have to be careful about what permission we are giving AI in our lives. I also think there's something that we all have to be vigilant against within ourselves. That being alive right now, being creative right now, requires us to maintain the custody over ourselves, maintain custody over our senses, over our desires, and to be vigilant against which things that are near and dear and sacred to the human experience, like creativity, maintain custody over those processes within ourselves, those impulses. That we can't just let ourselves, even unwillingly, participate in plagiarism, because that erodes something sacred. I think there's too much at stake. That's another reason why this disappoints me. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments.